Yeah, we was out in we was in the rec shack out on the yard in Leavenworth Penitentiary.
And Leavenworth was hardcore too.
Yeah, this was in 73. Maybe it might have been the last.
And he was in Leavenworth for fraud, which is really inappropriate. But they wanted, like, he shouldn't have been there technically because he was doing fraud sentence.
I mean, I shouldn't have been there in terms of age because I think me, Jeff, and another homie of mine, Ralph Walker Hill, we was the three youngest prisoners there.
And Leavenworth was for like the kidnappers and hijackers and old school gangsters and hitmen.
And the age limit was 27.
How old were you?
I was 24.
Oh, so Jeff you were supposed 25. To be 27 to even go to Leavenworth.
Yeah, you had to be 27 years old, but that she was an exceptional case. Like me,
but
Jeff,
Fort only had a fraud case. Like he didn't even have a violent crime case.
No, he had
another
fraud case for investment of
so tell us about you
money that Nixon gave.
Yeah,
but you know what? He came to me in Cadillac. We was lifting weights. Cadillac was on the bench, and I was standing over top of him, the spot. So we saw him when he eased over because we didn't play nobody coming in our circle. You see what I'm saying? Unannounced. But he came over real respectfully. You see what I'm saying?
He's a great leader. And he knows how to deal with people.
That's right. He know how to deal with men. He's a strong man himself. You see what I'm saying? So he approached me because I was standing up. He said, man, he introduced himself. So I'm Jeff Ford. He said, I'm from Chicago. So I told him, I said, I know who you are, bro. I said, we know who you are. How can we help? So he said, man, he said, most of my life, he said, I'm out of Chicago. He said, I see the Moors. He said, I always wanted to, become involved and study Moor science. He said, it would be an honor for me to study under you two brothers.
And for those who don't know, the Nation of Islam grew out of Moorish Science Temple. That's a big, long story, but just to give people some context, if they're not familiar with the Moorish Science Temple.
Yeah.
1913.
Totally 1913. Yeah. So
Noble Drew Ali.
We embraced him and told him, that's right, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. We embraced him and told him, say, look, you can come on into the temple, man, and become a part of it, you see what I'm saying? So he came into the temple. He was studying. Ralph Walker Hill was the one that was basically, teaching him. That's another one.
Did the Bureau of Prisons accept you as a religion at that time?
Beg your pardon?
Did the Bureau of Prisons accept the Moors as an official religious entity?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
but you had to fight for that.
Cadillac had divine minister papers.
You had to fight for that, or maybe somebody before you did, right?
No. Well, we came there. A brother by the name of H. Miller Ill, Hess Miller Ill. It was a logo circle that Dr. R. German Bay, another Moor, took to set up, a leader of the Moors. He set it up inside the institution. So, but when we came there, Miller Ill was gone. And St. Louis brothers, some elderly St. Louis brothers was running the temple. All this is in my book. So, if you want details of what happened, because we wound up stabbing the chief security and took all the literature.
Because they weren't,
from the moderator and the chairman, yeah. Because
they weren't following what they should have been.
They disrespected Drew Ali. See, and when they disrespected Drew Ali, me and Cadillac already knew that, we was going to straighten that because we didn't allow nobody to disrespect Drew Ali, just like we allowed nobody to disrespect ourselves. And Jeff, he was really significant because a brother got killed up in Chicago during our convention in 1974, and Jeff sent his soldiers up in there to protect.
That was an internal power struggle.
Yeah, he sent his soldiers up there to protect. See what I'm saying? The sister Christina Price May and the Moors that was up there that was running the Grand Major Temple, and this is how he got his nationality card in tribal name. A Bay. You see what I'm saying? So when he left the institution, he was functioning as a Moor in Chicago.
He started El Rookin. He made a lot of the BPS go to El Rookin, or they had to go on their own.
You see them El Rookin pictures that you got up YouTube, you see all of them with this headdress on. This is the Moorish.
You're in one of those pictures. You're in one of those pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
You're the tall guy in the back in one of them.
In the back, that's right. And Ralph Walker Hill is up front with his hand out like this here. That's who basically taught Jeff. You see his lessons, his basic lessons about Moorish science. You see what I'm saying? But I want to get back. I want to say one other thing about the racism in the federal system. Because see, out of all of the institutions, Lewisburg, Leavenworth, all of them, El Reno was the most racist.
And what did you see in the machine shop?
Oh yeah, this is what I seen in the machine shop. My homie took me down to the welding shop to do me some blades, and he said, "Ball," he said, "I want you to look at this." So when I looked, I seen a big rebel flag flying in the corner with a staff on it, and then I looked at the floor. I seen the emblem of a burning cross
carved into the cement,
embedded in the concrete floor of the CO's office.
So that's the guards doing that.
Man, they was promoting racism.
That had to be
I saw two lives out there. This is why I'm telling you how I laid the foundation for the war that later on came. You see what I'm saying? In '82, after Thomas Silverstein killed Cadillac. You see what I'm saying? And then started another war was getting ready to break out in Lewisburg. You see what I'm saying? That was all about homosexuality.
Can you tell us that story?
Yeah, I can tell you that story. Me and Cadillac was out on the rec yard lifting weights, and a couple of Moors came to us, and they said, because at that particular time, I think maybe me and Carl Kelly, we had probably about like 5 homosexuals that we was selling. You know, we would sell them, then I would go take them back.
But you didn't make them, so you didn't force them into that per se.
No, I didn't force them into it. That's what they was doing.
Like a pimp
they came to me, my homies in the witch days, and tell them, say, you need to go to NaeBall out there because he gonna protect you. Ain't a whole lot of people out there can protect you. You go out there, they're gonna gang rape you and everything. So they used to come from the shoe over to, I stayed right next to the shoe in A block, and they would come over there and they would say, I need your protection. So I said, okay, as long as you're willing to work, you know, to get money. You see what I'm saying? Because there ain't no protection for free. You see what I'm saying?
What did sex sell for in there?
Yeah, so we was in.
How much did sex sell for? What did somebody want to have sex with one of them? What was it? What did it cost?
I sold a brother. You see, because he's a now brother in Baltimore. You probably know him. But I sold one boy for $500. You see what I'm saying? You know, and then I let him keep him. He thought he was gonna keep him from now on. I let him keep him about a week, then I went and took him back. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, because I was renting them out. We was renting them out for like $50 to $100. All depends on how much time people wanted to spend with her.
Wow.
You see? So 3 young Moors came to me in Cadillac that was up under us. Cadillac was the grand sheik, I was the chair. He came to us, so they said they wanted to make some money by having some boys sell their bodies and their butt for them, you know. So I say, well, is he a homosexual? So they said, no, we don't know. But they say he's a European. So I said, well, you know, you can't just take nobody, you know, manhood. You see what I'm saying? We're not into that. You know, find somebody that
is into it already.
That's willing to work with you like that. I said, I understand you want to make some money. Y'all want to make some money and, you know, and live halfway decent up in here. You see what I'm saying? So I said, I'm advising you not to do that. Leave them alone. Go on back and find somebody, you know, that's willing to work with you. They didn't do that. See, they went and they jumped on the boy because me and Cadillac wasn't about telling other men what they could do and what they couldn't do. As long as they didn't violate none of the laws of Drew Ali, you see what I'm saying? They was on their own. Any condition you create, you got to be willing to go. So they went, all three of them, tried to take the boys, but rape them. And they failed that. You see what I'm saying? So one of the boys, Sipion Bay, one of the brothers, Sipion Bay, he went back to his cell. All three of them went back to their cell. They went back to their cell, and Sipion Bay, they're bikers. The boy had some biker friends. They ran in there. They almost cut his head off. He just barely lived. He had a cut all the way from here, just in his jugular. So they came to me in Cadillac. Say, Sipion Bay, man, he in bad shape. He in the hospital. So one of Cadillac's faults, loved him to death, was that he had a gun that was so quick, man, you wouldn't believe it. I'm telling you, he had multiple murders out there in the street, and inside the institution, he had multiple stabbings, man. He wouldn't hesitate to go at some people. So he said, "Come on, Ball, let's suit up." So I said, "No, I don't think we should shoot up, Black." I said, "They created this condition." I say, I just told them what the law was. You sanctioned it. Then they went against that. I said, "Man, they don't have to straighten this up on their own." You see what I'm saying? I say, y'all created this condition. You got to redeem yourself with your own, So we said we don't want to know nothing about it. This is what we told them. We said we don't want to know nothing about it. We're not involved. You see what I'm saying? We're not gonna get involved. So what Cadillac told him was a grand sheet. So maybe like about, could have been no more, about like an hour or so later. You see what I'm saying? We coming off Black coming off the wreck pile, and we coming back in to where the blocks was at, and we seen two big old skinheads. They was following us off the yard. You could sense with somebody trying to do you some harm, so they was trying to sneak us. They was part of they was with the white boy that got beat up. So, and they knew that we was leading the Moors, so I guess they figured, if we get them two, we good. We ain't got to worry about the rest of them. That's the heads. So we stepped up in the little vestibule where the drug thing was at and pulled out our knives. We kept our knives on us at all times. There was no such thing. Lewisburg was wide open.
And they weren't searching inmates. You could walk around.
Lewisburg had no guards. Only time you saw the guards was when it was in the dining room. You see what I'm saying?
Sounds like a scary place.
That's right. They weren't in the blocks. The blocks was wide open. They had no doors. Anybody could walk up to anybody's block, catch him in there on the chair, and kill him. So the skinheads, they sensed that we was waiting on. They turned around and went back. So when we went in, the Moors, you could feel the tension. Not just with the Moors, but you could feel the tension with everybody. Because they had found that same European that they tried to rape, they found him in the basement with a knife through him. See, he was dead. So they say the Moors at war with the Europeans up in here. Italians were scared to death. Oh man, they were scared to death. They had
a protector they had a hitter from DC with them.
They had a protector. My good friend. He was a very close friend of me in Cadillac.
But you fell out about that.
His name was Wade Bullet Brown. Yeah, he was their protector. He slung that knife for them. You see what I'm saying?
And you guys fell out about that.
Yeah, they took him. That's in the book. You see what I'm saying?
It was a DC.
We found out about that because he was up there with maybe like about 20 of them. I think Gene Gotti and all of them was up there. He was up there with about 20 of them. And we came up to the rec area to meet, to strategize how we was going to do the skinheads. You see, and they saw us. And we felt the fear and everything. You see what I'm saying? And we seen the look of uncertainty in Bullet's eye because he was meeting with, these Europeans. And, he was a close friend of ours. Extremely close friend of me and Cadillac. You see what I'm saying? So we went back to our cell block. Long story short, the Italians dropped a note on us. I already know that because that's what they used to do. They didn't have no respect for the brothers. You know, they tell on the brother quick. So they dropped a note on us and say that we was responsible for the killing of the European in the basement. So they come by and they locked us up. It was in 75. It was in 75. See what I'm saying?
So right before you got out.
Yeah, I got out in 76, yeah. You see what I'm saying? So they locked us down. They locked down me, they locked down Cadillac, they locked down Crump Bay, they locked down Shepherd Bay, they locked down Savage Hill, you see what I'm saying? They locked down DC Walk because that was basically the brothers who was functioning. We were functioning together in Lewisburg. There was some more Moors that was functioning, but we didn't function with them because of that infraction I told you about. When Jeff sent his people up in there, you know, because of the internal fact, we weren't functioning and we was doing our own thing. You see what I'm saying? So when they locked us down, I stayed locked down. Me and Cadillac stayed locked down for 8 months in the same cell. Then they sent Cadillac back to Maryland. They put me back on the compound. They put Crump Bay back on, put everybody back on the compound, except for Shepherd Bay and Savage Hill. Some DC/Baltimore dude said that he saw them commit the murder. So they charged them with the murder, exonerated everybody else, and wound up convicting them. In 1976, you see, this wasn't long. I got out the hole. You see what I'm saying? We stayed in the hole almost a year. And then I was out the hole maybe like a week. Somebody dropped a note on me. They didn't want me out of the compound. Somebody dropped a note on me and said I was sex pressing. Just sit making them try to make them sell their body, which was false. You see what I'm saying? So then what they did, they still released me. I stayed locked up maybe about a week. They put me out. So now I had the worst caseworker. Man, in the whole Lewisburg penitentiary. Everybody knew that. His name was Jesse James. He was case manager for A block. He called me to his office and told me he was recommending me for parole. And I couldn't believe this.
They didn't want to deal with you no more.
The bottom line, let me make the long story short. The bottom line was that Lewisburg, they never wanted me there. They had refused me 3 times. You see, when I went to Reno, you see what I'm saying, they refused me. Twice when I was in Lewisburg. See, they didn't want me. They said, we don't want this young leader up here because it's too many DC dudes up here. He gonna have too much control. You see, so they never wanted me there. But finally, they sent me there. You see what I'm saying? You know, they sent me there. You see what I'm saying?
There was only 6 federal prisons then, right?
Only 6.
But you had to go somewhere.
Yeah, you had to go somewhere. It was Atlanta, Terre Haute, Lewisburg, Leavenworth, McNeil Island,
Milan,
and Maryland.
When did Milan open?
Maryland opened in
no, Milan. When did Milan, Michigan? What didn't that open in?
I don't know. Milan, Michigan was FCI.
Oh, you mean a USP? Okay, right,
Yeah.
Yeah, max security.
Federal Correctional Institution, what
right.
that's called.
You're talking about there were 6 USPs, U.S. penitentiaries.
That's right. 6 penitentiaries, that's all they had. I don't know, they might got about 100 or something now. They didn't have but 6 of them then. So everybody knew everybody who was slinging that knife. You see what I'm saying? And that's what it was. It wasn't about no fist fights in the feds. See, it was about slinging the knife. And as much as, you know, I'm not trying to toot my horn, but I'm going to be honest with you, man. I left a trail of blood all the way from Petersburg to Lewisburg. That's why I couldn't believe that they was going to release me.
They ain't want to deal with it.
My case manager went in my jacket and cleaned up every incident I had from Petersburg and Reno. Now in Reno, I fought about 20 police officers, 20 COs. All this is in my book. Person need to get my book. They want dates, time, Actually, Rich, you get real names and everything of people.
The
That's
Hills
what I'm
of
saying.
DC, Nathan McQueen-El,
All in
on
the
everything.
book. The only things I'm not talking about is cases I can't talk about. You see what I'm saying? Things I can talk about that's a matter of public record, that's what I'm talking about. This book is not there to glorify nobody, you see what I'm saying? Not there to defame nobody, you know. It's just my life and how I live my life.